Welcome to the Risk Wheelhouse, the podcast where we navigate the ever-changing seas of risk management and technology. Join your hosts, Ori Wellington and Sam Jones, as they steer you through the latest trends, insights, and strategies shaping the future of integrated risk management. Ready to chart a course towards success? Hop aboard and let's set sail into today's deep dive.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to really dive deep into the world of integrated risk management. We've got a whole stack of articles here from the Risk Tech Journal and in a really interesting white paper titled Why ERM and GRC Are Failing and How IRM Can Fix It. But before we get into all that, let me ask you this. Are you prepared for your risk responsibilities to potentially double in the next few years? Because 61% of execs are bracing for exactly that kind of shift.
That's a great question to start with because it really highlights the need for a new approach to risk management, something more holistic and proactive than the traditional methods.
So is that where IRM comes in? Is it the answer to all our risk woes?
Well, it's certainly gaining traction as a solution to some of the major limitations of older approaches like enterprise risk management, ERM, and governance risk and compliance, or GRC. This white paper argues that those methods have become too siloed and focused on checking boxes instead of actual strategic value.
It sounds like they're missing the forest for the trees.
Exactly. The white paper uses the analogy of a ship navigating through a storm. ERM would be like having separate teams managing the sails, the engine, and the navigation, but without any coordination. IRM, on the other hand, is like having a skilled captain who can see the entire ship and make strategic decisions based on a complete understanding of the situation.
Okay, so instead of reacting to each wave as it comes, IRM helps you chart a course through the entire storm.
Precisely. And this is crucial because the storms we're facing in the business world today are becoming more complex and unpredictable than ever before. Think rapid technological advancements, evolving regulations, geopolitical instability. These are all factors that require a more integrated and proactive approach to risk management.
But let's be honest, integrated can sound pretty vague. What does that actually look like in practice?
IRM brings together all the different aspects of risk management, financial, compliance, technology, operations under one unified strategy. It's about breaking down those silos and having a truly holistic view of risk across the entire organization.
So no more department heads fighting over who's responsible for what risk.
Ideally, yes. IRM is about fostering collaboration and communication between different departments so they can work together to identify, assess, and manage risks in a coordinated way. This white paper really emphasizes the need for real-time risk dashboards that give everyone a shared understanding of the organization's overall risk profile. Imagine everyone looking at the same map of the storm instead of just focusing on their little piece of the ship.
I'm starting to get the picture, but it still feels a bit theoretical. Can you give us some concrete examples?
Absolutely. The Risk Tech Journal articles provide several compelling examples of companies putting IRM into action. For instance, General Motors is using IRM to manage the complex digital risks associated with connected vehicles. Think about the potential risks of hacking, data breaches, and software malfunctions. They're using IRM to ensure that these risks are carefully considered throughout the design, development, and deployment of their vehicles.
That makes sense, especially as cars become more and more like computers on wheels. But what about companies that aren't dealing with cutting-edge technology? Is IRM still relevant to them?
Absolutely. IRM is relevant to any organization, regardless of its size, industry, or level of technological sophistication. Take the financial sector, for example. The Risk Tech Journal highlights how financial institutions are using IRM to prepare for the EU's Digital Operational Resilience Act, or DORA. This regulation aims to ensure that financial institutions can withstand disruptions and maintain critical operations in the face of cyber attacks and other threats.
So IRM is helping these institutions build up their resilience, their ability to weather the storm, so to speak.
Exactly. And this idea of resilience is one of the 4 key objectives of IRM, which are neatly captured by the acronym PRAC: Performance, Resilience, Assurance, and Compliance.
Hold on, let's break that down for our listeners. What does each of those objectives actually mean?
Performance ensures that risk management actually supports business goals rather than hinders them. Resilience, as we discussed, focuses on the organization's ability to bounce back from disruptions. Assurance is about building trust in the risk data and the processes used to manage it. And of course, Compliance focuses on meeting all the necessary regulatory requirements.
So it's not just about avoiding risk, but also about making sure that risk management is aligned with the overall business strategy.
Right. It's about finding the right balance between mitigating risk and pursuing opportunities. For example, let's say a company is considering launching a new product. IRM would help them identify the potential risks associated with that launch, such as market volatility or supply chain disruptions. But it would also help them assess the potential rewards and make a strategic decision based on a comprehensive understanding of both the risks and the opportunities.
That's a great way to think about it. IRM is like having a co-pilot that helps you navigate the complexities of the business world, allowing you to make informed decisions that consider both the potential pitfalls and the potential rewards.
Exactly. And as you gain more experience with IRM, you'll start to see risk not as something to be feared, but as an inherent part of any endeavor. And by embracing a proactive and strategic approach to risk management, you can actually turn risk into a competitive advantage.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. Are you saying that by being smart about risk, you can actually use it to get ahead?
Think of it this way. By understanding and managing risk effectively, you can make bolder decisions, seize opportunities that others might shy away from, and ultimately achieve greater success.
But wouldn't that require a major shift in mindset? Most people see risk as something negative, something to be avoided at all costs.
That's where the cultural aspect of IRM comes into play. It's not just about implementing new processes and technologies. It's about fostering a culture of risk awareness and accountability, where everyone in the organization understands the importance of managing risk and feels empowered to identify, assess, and report potential issues.
So it's about turning everyone into a mini risk manager.
In a way, yes. It's about empowering people at all levels of the organization to think critically about risk and make informed decisions that consider both the potential downsides and the potential upsides.
This has given us a lot to think about. But how do we actually take action? Where do we even begin with implementing IRM?
Well, that's a question we'll delve into in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore some practical steps organizations can take to get started with IRM and some of the key considerations for building a successful IRM program. But for now, let's pause here and give our listeners some time to process everything we've discussed so far.
Sounds like a plan. But before we go, I have one more question for our listeners. What's one small step you can take this week to become more aware of risk in your own work?
We'll be back soon to explore the HOW of IRM. So until then, keep thinking about risk and how it impacts your world.
Welcome back, everyone.
Are you ready to see risk management in action? At Wheelhouse Advisors, we've launched a new YouTube channel dedicated to integrated risk management. You'll find quick explainers, insights from our IRM Navigator research reports, highlights from the Risk Journal, and conversations from the Risk Wheelhouse podcast. We're covering the topics that matter most to executives and risk leaders, from AI governance and cyber insurance to operational resilience and regulatory change. Every video is designed to help you anticipate risks, adapt with confidence, and build resilience in a digital-first world. In our first video, we explain how ISO 42001, the EU AI Act, and the NIST AI Risk Management Framework can work together as a unified playbook for AI risk. Subscribe today at youtube.com/@wheelhouseadv and get the latest insights delivered directly to you. That's youtube.com/@wheelhouseadv. Subscribe now and stay ahead of the risks that matter most.
And I hope you've had some time to kind of digest all that we discussed in the first part of this deep dive.
Yeah. We covered a lot of ground, didn't we? From the shortcomings of traditional risk management to the core principles of IRM.
And you left us with that thought-provoking question about taking even a small step this week to be more risk-aware. Hopefully you've all had some aha moments since then.
I'm eager to hear what's resonated with you. But before we dive into the HOW of IRM implementation, I want to highlight one of its most compelling aspects. IRM isn't just about mitigating risk. It's about using risk intelligence to make smarter decisions.
You're saying it's not just about playing defense, but actually using risk to our advantage.
Precisely. Take cybersecurity, for example. The Risk Tech Journal features a case study about S&P 100 companies using IRM to elevate their cybersecurity beyond just checking boxes.
So they're not just reacting to the latest threat, but building cybersecurity into their DNA.
That's right. They're proactively identifying and mitigating cyber threats as part of their overall strategy. Instead of hindering growth, security becomes a driver of innovation.
Speaking of threats, remember that statistic we mentioned earlier about Amazon facing a mind-boggling 750 million cyber attack attempts per day? That really hammered home the point that cybersecurity is everybody's business.
It's a wake-up call for sure. IRM provides the framework and tools to integrate cybersecurity into an organization's DNA, ensuring it's not just an IT issue, but a business-critical concern addressed at the highest level. It equips them to make informed decisions about resource allocation and security investments.
The Risk Tech Journal also brought up another area where IRM shines, addressing the issue of financial restatements. It seems there's been a disturbing rise in companies needing to reissue their financial statements because of accounting errors.
It's definitely a concern.
Yeah.
The Financial Times reported that a staggering 140 public companies had to restate their financials in just the first 10 months of 2024. That's a 9-year high.
What's driving this surge in restatements, and how does IRM help?
Well, several factors contribute to this. Complex accounting standards, the pressure to meet earnings expectations, and sadly, sometimes inadequate internal controls.
It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Indeed. IRM can play a crucial role in mitigating these risks by strengthening internal controls, boosting risk awareness, and promoting a culture of compliance across the organization. It's about ditching a reactive checklist approach and embracing a proactive, risk-based approach instead.
So it's about moving beyond just ticking boxes and actually understanding the WHY behind the controls.
Exactly. The Risk Tech Journal article emphasizes how IRM technology provides the tools and insights needed to spot potential accounting risks early, automate control processes, and ultimately enhance the quality of financial reporting.
It seems technology plays a crucial role in this proactive approach.
Absolutely. Having the right technology in place is essential for supporting these processes and providing real-time data for informed decision-making.
Now let's shift gears and talk about another area where IRM is making waves, the world of artificial intelligence. AI is transforming everything, but it also introduces a whole new set of risks and opportunities.
AI's impact is undeniable. The Risk Tech Journal has several articles exploring the intersection of AI and IRM with a key focus on AI risk governance.
We touched upon this earlier, but could you delve deeper into what AI risk governance entails and how IRM helps organizations navigate this complex landscape?
Well, AI risk governance is about ensuring AI is developed and used responsibly and ethically aligning with an organization's values and objectives. It's about anticipating potential risks, like bias in algorithms, data privacy breaches, or even AI being used for malicious purposes, and implementing safeguards to mitigate them.
So before we unleash the power of AI, we need to establish some ground rules.
Precisely. IRM provides the framework for embedding AI risk considerations into the overall risk management strategy. Instead of treating it as a separate silo, organizations can use IRM to bring together data scientists, risk professionals, legal experts, and business leaders to collaboratively develop and implement AI governance policies and controls.
It sounds like a truly collaborative effort, ensuring that everyone has a voice at the table.
That's the essence of IRM. It's about breaking down silos and fostering communication across the organization. The Risk Tech Journal even highlights examples of companies using AI agents within their IRM systems.
We discussed AI agents before, but as a refresher, could you explain what they are and how they're being used in the context of IRM?
Imagine tiny digital risk managers tirelessly working behind the scenes. That's what AI agents are. These are autonomous systems that can analyze information, identify patterns, and even make decisions based on predefined rules.
They sound like a secret weapon in the fight against risk.
They're definitely changing the game. Within IRM, AI agents are used to automate risk assessments, monitor for emerging threats, and even take proactive steps to respond to incidents.
As AI technology advances, it's exciting to think about the future possibilities for AI agents and IRM.
The Risk Tech Journal even suggests that AI agents could play a significant role in autonomous IRM systems, where AI takes on a larger role in managing risk, with humans providing oversight.
It's almost like a glimpse into a science fiction movie. But even as we embrace these technological advancements, it's important to remember that technology is just one piece of the IRM puzzle.
You're absolutely right. At its core, IRM is about people, processes, and technology working together to create a culture of risk awareness and proactive risk management.
This brings us to another crucial aspect of IRM implementation: fostering that very culture of risk awareness within an organization. But what does that actually look like? How do we make it happen?
It's about a fundamental shift in mindset and behavior. Everyone, from the top executives to those on the front lines, needs to understand the importance of managing risk and feel empowered to identify, assess, and report potential risks.
So instead of a culture of fear where people are afraid to speak up, we need a culture of transparency and collaboration where everyone feels responsible for managing risk.
Exactly. The RigTech Journal articles offer some great advice on how to cultivate this type of environment. One key recommendation is making risk management a part of everyday conversations and decision-making processes.
So instead of risk being the separate topic we only discuss during annual reviews, it's integrated into performance reviews, project planning meetings, and even those casual team chats around the water cooler.
Exactly. Another critical step is providing employees with the training and resources they need to effectively understand and manage the risks specific to their roles. This might involve online training modules, workshops on risk management topics, or even a dedicated online hub where employees can access information and resources.
It sounds like we're not just telling people to be risk aware, but actually giving them the tools and knowledge they need to take action.
And perhaps most importantly, it's about leading by example. Leaders need to demonstrate their commitment to risk management by openly discussing risk, recognizing employees who identify and report risks, and holding themselves and others accountable for managing risks effectively.
So it's not enough to just talk the talk. You have to walk the walk.
Precisely. It's about creating an environment where risk management isn't seen as a burden or a compliance chore, but as a fundamental part of achieving strategic goals and driving success.
That makes a lot of sense. When everyone feels empowered to manage risk, it becomes a collective responsibility, a shared journey towards greater resilience and success.
That's the beauty of integrated risk management. It's not just about mitigating threats, but about turning risk into a strategic advantage. It's about shifting from a reactive to a proactive approach, where risk is seen as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow.
We've covered a lot of ground in this part, haven't we? We've explored real-world applications of IRM, from cybersecurity to financial reporting, and delved into the crucial role of technology and culture.
It's been a fascinating discussion, but before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you, our listeners. What are your thoughts on what we've discussed so far? What resonates with you? What questions are swirling in your mind?
We'll be right back after a short break to answer your questions and wrap up this deep dive into IRM. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been exploring the fascinating world of integrated risk management, and I'm excited to continue the conversation.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From understanding why traditional risk management approaches are falling short to exploring how IRM can be a game changer across various industries.
And we've even touched on the role of cutting-edge technology like AI and the critical importance of fostering a risk-aware culture within organizations.
It's been quite a journey. But before we wrap up, let's address the elephant in the room. Many of you are probably thinking, okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do I actually implement IRM in my own organization?
Yeah, that's a great question. It can feel a bit overwhelming, especially if you're just starting out on your IRM journey.
You're absolutely right. There's no magic wand or one-size-fits-all solution. But there are some key steps you can take to get started and build a solid foundation for IRM. Think of it like constructing a building. You need a strong blueprint before you start laying bricks.
So where do we begin with this blueprint?
Well, the first step is to take a good hard look in the mirror. Conduct a thorough assessment of your organization's current risk management practices. Identify any gaps, weaknesses, or areas where things could be improved.
It's like taking inventory of your risk management toolbox. Figure out what tools you have, which ones are missing, and which ones need to be sharpened.
Exactly. And just as important as the tools is understanding your organization's risk appetite and tolerance. How much risk are you comfortable taking on? What are your absolute no-go zones? These are crucial questions to answer before you can develop a tailored IRM strategy.
Okay, so once you have a clear understanding of where you stand, what's next?
Then it's time to create a roadmap for your IRM implementation. This roadmap should outline your key objectives, the strategies you'll use to achieve them, and a realistic timeline for rolling everything out. Remember, IRM is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right. It's about making steady progress and building momentum over time.
And while processes and technology are important, let's not forget about the human element. Fostering a culture of risk awareness and accountability is absolutely essential for success.
Yeah, we talked earlier about getting everyone on board from the top down to the front lines by providing the right training and resources.
Exactly. Creating this cultural shift is a crucial piece of the IRM puzzle. It's about empowering everyone in the organization to be risk-aware and to feel comfortable speaking up when they see something that could potentially cause harm.
So it's not just about having policies and procedures in place, it's about creating an environment where people feel safe to raise concerns and share their insights.
That's right. And don't be afraid to seek external expertise and guidance along the way. There are countless resources available to support you, from consulting firms to technology vendors to industry associations.
The Risk Tech Journal itself is a treasure trove of information on IRM trends, best practices, and leading vendors.
And their IRM Navigator reports provide a deep dive into specific IRM segments like ERM, GRC, and TRM. Plus, their IRM Vendor Compass ratings offer a comprehensive overview of the top technology providers in the space.
Wow, it's amazing how much information is out there. It feels empowering to know that you don't have to figure this all out on your own.
Absolutely. There's a whole community of experts and resources ready to help you navigate the complexities of IRM. Remember, you're not alone on this journey.
So before we bring this deep dive to a close, let's leave our listeners with one final thought to ponder.
Given everything we've discussed today, what's one concrete action you can take this week to start integrating risk management more effectively into your own work or even your personal life?
It could be something as simple as having a conversation with your team about potential risks or taking some time to review your organization's risk management policies.
Or maybe it's just carving out some time to educate yourself further about IRM best practices.
The key is to take that first step, however small it may seem.
Because even the smallest steps can lead to significant progress over time.
And remember, IRM isn't just a buzzword.
It's a fundamental shift in how we think about and manage risk in a world that's becoming increasingly complex and interconnected.
By embracing IRM, we can not only mitigate potential threats, but also unlock incredible opportunities for growth, innovation, and resilience. It's about turning risk into our strategic advantage.
So knowledge seekers, go forth and embrace the power of integrated risk management.
That's all for this episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.
That wraps up another episode of the Risk Wheelhouse. Thank you for spending time with us at Wheelhouse Advisors today. We hope you found the conversation insightful and actionable for your organization's risk strategies. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. If you're looking for more in-depth analysis and thought leadership on risk technology, be sure to visit the Risk Tech Journal at therisktechjournal.com. It's your go-to source for comprehensive articles, expert interviews, and the latest trends shaping the industry. Subscribe today to stay informed. For any inquiries or feedback, please contact us directly at info@wheelhouseadvisors.com or feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn and x.com and share your thoughts or suggestions for future topics. Visit wheelhouseadvisors.com for more information and resources. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, navigate wisely.